Hello YouTubers and welcome to another episode here on the channel. Today I have some unfortunate news if you haven't heard it already. The Olympics have been postponed, probably to 2021, and the Henley Royal Regatta for 2020 has been cancelled with no rescheduling planned. Obviously this applies to all sports, not just rowing, and it's sport. So generally there are more important things to be focusing on, especially as the world are all trying to come together to beat the COVID-19. But for some people, or for a lot of people, sport is your life. Sport is what they've been focusing on, and especially when it comes to the Olympics, you're looking at an entire sporting career and an entire goal of that sporting career taken away. And it's not taken away now, but I know some people are looking at 2020 and then moving on, or at least they were looking at the 2020 Olympics and then to move on, and now they've been told, no, it's not going to happen this year, it might happen next year, and we don't really know when the Olympics are going to happen, and because we don't really know what's going to happen with COVID-19 going forward. So it is going to be really interesting as we move forward for the sporting world. But if you think, some people, you're saying, oh, sport doesn't matter. Sport is just a small part of the world, which, yes, you can do a lot more than just sport. But to some people, it's like, if say you were, I was reading an article about how sports people or people that were going to the Olympics or being selected for Olympics and then getting that taken away from them, the article was saying they have to grow up and set out their priorities. But say, for example, using that writer, imagine that writer was in the running for the best writing prize, or they were going for the job that they've always wanted in writing, and they've been told, no, it's postponed, you're not going to get that. So it's a big thing, regardless of if it is into the Olympics or if it is into just anything in the entire world. Everyone is getting affected. And so what's going on with me, with the Olympics, I'll talk about that post-erg after we walk. Yeah, I'm missing that, right? So we're going to finish up this walk and then have a little bit of a chat, well, do an erg, then have a little bit of a chat of just kind of the effects on not just me, but also the people that have been already selected for this year, what that means for them going forward. So let's finish up this walk and get on the air. Go, yeah. And we have finished the erg for today. A little bit of a shorter one, like I said. Excuse you, Jan. A little bit of a shorter one. 155.6 average heart rate. 123. So it's a bit chilly. Well, not chilly, it's cooler. So it really does affect the heart rate. So you have to push pretty hard to increase the heart rate. But now the erg is done, we're going to get into what does the cancelling or the cancelling of all the events this summer and the postponing of the Olympics. So let's put the camera down because it'll be a little bit of a chat. So if you wanted to minimize the screen and listen to the chat, you can, obviously. Or you could listen and watch as Yam might get up and play as well. But postponing the events means obviously that there's no racing this year. It means that we have been given an opportunity to almost choose what we want to do for time, especially in the very near future, since pretty much everyone's on lockdown isolation. So we have at least a short period of time where we can do almost whatever we want to do, whether it's do a lot of miles on erg, whether it's learn to play the piano, whether it's clean your car, anything you want to do for the next couple of weeks, sort of things you've been putting off. I see a lot of people doing housework, like new carpets, new stairs, new ceilings that they've been putting off because they've been too busy. Now we've got given the opportunity to use, or to, that we've been given more time. Yes, the situation isn't a great thing, but to take a little bit positive from it, we're given a little bit more time as Jan gets up to do what we may not necessarily have been able to do. Isn't that right? Yeah, come here. Have a little seat. Have a little seat. There we go. Have a good boy. And what does that mean for training? Well, for me, since I train full-time anyway, it just means that training takes a little shift in respect of, so like the gym shut, so no gym. Unless I can get some weights and then do some weights, not in the gym. But generally it means that, okay, no racing, so the shift in training doesn't necessarily need to happen so at the end of this training block. So the end of the training block, the idea was to switch into sort of the power phase, the strength phase, rather than the hypertrophy phase, getting bigger to support the strength and the power phase. So instead of doing 10-10s and weights and deadlifts and all that, we switched to 3s, 5s and shorter rep ranges to increase the power, to increase the strength, and not necessarily the size. But since there's no racing this year going forward past the short term, it means that, well, will it be a good thing to do, I put it on my Instagram story yesterday, a 72-week training block, because I started in December of this kind of winter training and then bring it to this time next year. Will it be just a case of doing winter training the whole way through? Well, yes and no. Winter training in the respect of usually there's a lot of indoor training, but winter training in the respect of I'm not going to be doing high mileage the entire year. I'm not going to be doing, if I get weights, it's not going to be a case of doing super high reps the entire year, for a couple of reasons. Number one being the body can adapt, or the body will adapt to the training stimulus that you give it. So if you do a training method for a long period of time, it's very easy to run into a plateau and just not get any faster, get any stronger, get any fitter. So the idea between sort of the training blocks of changing the training stimulus still applies. It might not mean that, okay, I'm prepping for a 2K race. It just means that we'll be changing it a little bit to keep up the variation, because remember, variation is one of the keys to motivation, and also making sure that my body doesn't fully adapt to one type of training. So it's getting close now, well, apart from this week since we've changed it, since there's no weights, it's getting close to being adapting to 10-10s and the deadlifts. So if I'm switching off of that, it could mean a case of changing the exercises, it could mean changing the rep ranges, it could mean not doing weights, it could be even doing more weights. But again, it is a case of varying things up, and we have the time to do so. Almost like I said, about a 72-week training block. You could just divide that up into sort of 6 12-week blocks and just completely smash each and every one. But again, it depends on what goes on in the world. Will we be in isolation for a few weeks, multiple months? We don't really know yet. And finally, going on to the Olympics itself for me, since they've been postponed, a lot of you, so many people have been asking, well, what does this mean for you? And I really appreciate that. And honestly, I don't know. I'm not on the GB rowing team at the moment. I was in 2017-18. Will that mean there will be another opportunity to try to get back onto the team at the end of 2020, or like closer to the end of 2020? Again, it's something I don't know. I would love another opportunity to do that, and using what I've been doing over the last few months, I've been increasing my strength, I've been increasing my fitness, and I am getting much, much stronger. But can I apply that to the boat is a big question. There won't be a lot of on the water rowing currently just because of the isolation status, but again, we've been given more time, so will I be able to get my rowing up? We'll kind of see. And going forward, it's just a kind of case of I don't even know if there will be an opportunity at any point this year or beginning of next year, because the team has been selected essentially for the Tokyo Olympics. So will that mean that the people that have been told they're selected, and they just kind of wipe those results off the table and say, well, we're having more trials next year? I don't know. This is all a new experience, a new situation for pretty much everybody. So it's just a case of taking it one day at a time, treating everything as an opportunity to see if I can get better. If I can, say, like I said, do a 72-week winter training block, then it's going to benefit me. Hopefully the YAM squad can come along with the journey, and obviously having another opportunity to race for the GB team would be absolutely fantastic, but I am not in control at all of any of that. It's all up to sort of British Rowing and the coaches to see what they decide. It could mean that, like I said, there'll be no trials this year. I don't know. It could mean that there'll be more trials. It could mean that there'll be a different style of trial. I'm not sure. But again, it's something for the future YAM squad to look forward to. Isn't that right, YAM? Yes. And you'll be a big boy next year. Yes. But as always, YAM squad, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully you're able to do something productive during the isolation times. Let me know in the comments below if you have been able to at least start something. I'm thinking about doing a little bit of piano myself, but I'm not sure about that yet. We will see. And I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Oh yeah.